Joining us right now is Mizuho America's Energy Future Strategist, Bob Yawger. Bob, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What's your take on what's going on with oil right now?
Well, storage has been up every week since the OPEC agreement kicked in. We're at an all-time record storage level here in the United States. We're almost 40 million barrels ahead of last year's number. And keeping in mind that crude oil traded down to $26 last year, that's saying a pretty lot. So we do have a storage draw on the private sector report that came out yesterday. We have a government report today at 10:30. If we have a draw on that number, that will be the first draw since the OPEC agreement kicked in. That would be the first draw of 2017. We are up 2% today. We're up $1 today. So there is the potential for a little bit of a bottom in place here right now. But we roll the dice at 10:30. We shall see.
Bob, isn't this par for the course? Don't we expect oil to be between 45 and 55, just given the way that we can turn on and turn off our shale producers here, and they could put barrels in production, they can sell out on the future curve?
That is true, but we are at 9.1 million barrels now in domestic production. We got to 9.6 million when we were maxed out in 2015. If we were to continue to build at that rate, it could put pressure on the market that could test that $45 bottom. So we do run the risk of an almost too successful type situation for the E&P types.
Yeah, if that happens, the last time, if you go back to the 90s when you saw a degrade in the price of oil, there were lots of mergers and acquisitions that occurred. Do you feel that more of those are in the wind? Are we getting some big mega mergers as a result of this declining oil price?
Well, I don't know if we'll see the mega merger. There's a couple big names that are talked in the press out there, but the big space where you really want to see the mergers, where they've been developing, is in the Permian Basin in Texas. So if you own acreage there, if you're a little guy that owns acreage there, the big guys are going to come in there and scoop you up. This is the American way, though. You get the little guy that takes ingenuity to the market and then gets picked up when you see success in that space, and that's what we've been seeing happen.
And they don't have to sell because they've actually done secondary offerings to firm up their balance sheets, and then their stocks have run since then. So it's been interesting to see these little guys actually have done well in that aspect.
That's probably where the potential for deals is, because can you really see some of these gigantic oil companies getting together at this point? They're already so big in size, but you make a good point, because the last time we had a sell-off in oil, that's when Exxon and Mobil got together.
And if you look at it, Exxon's been sitting around. They just did a big deal in Permian, and if you look at, for example, British Petroleum, BP is trading at a much lower multiple.
Wow.
And so there are people out there that are not doing quite as well, and we're on fire in the United States,
Yeah.
and I don't know what you feel about it. Some people feel we could get to 10 million barrels a day, and that is breakthrough kind of stuff.
Doesn't that kind of supply that Peter's talking about send prices lower over the long term?
It does, but it assumes the demand will be strong. If international demand is strong, then we can have export success, then we may move in that direction.
Yeah, and Bob, just a quick question politically. Obviously, the president is going to Michigan today to talk to automakers and talk about fuel efficiency standards. So how is your industry and how are specifically American producers kind of reacting and watching his movements today with the auto industry?
Well, I think that what they'd like to see is government step away from the situation, basically, and let the market take care of the situation. We have taxes, unnecessary taxes, in my opinion, on gasoline. If those are removed, you have success in the refinery space that may not exist right now. You have integrated types that own refineries, so they will do better also. So the more that government steps away, the better that energy tends to do, in my opinion.
All right, we'll leave it there. Bob, great to have your insights.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Bob Yawger from Mizuho.